Well, growing up in Texas, I learned really quick that Mother Nature is one crazy lady, but I really didn't get a true taste of that until I went to Colorado for the very first time to go on an elk hunting trip. Um, I was super excited. Obviously, I was 14, I think, roughly around that age, and it was my very first time ever going on an elk trip, ever doing a spot and stalk or a backpacking trip, you could say, up a mountain, anything like that. And it was an awesome experience. We got up there. We took like about a 20-foot enclosed horse trailer, filled it up with bunk beds and heaters and stuff, and that's where we slept. And we brought another smaller trailer that we used as our cook shed. And we set up camp in a little mountain town called Meeker, Colorado, right on the southern side of a mountain face, in a camp that my grandpa religiously camps at every year. And we get up there, and the atmosphere up there is absolutely breathtaking. As soon as we got there was still a little bit of daylight left to go out and do a little glassing over the hills and stuff with the spotting scope. And we got to watch elk herds move up and down the mountains, which is something I had never seen before, just growing up hunting whitetail in East Texas. And that was an awesome experience. And a really cool way to get in touch with nature and with God is just watching his animals move up and down mountains. The first 2 days were pretty interesting. It was a lot of walking, a lot of looking at animals. Never really got up to get a shot on anything. We did see really nice bulls and things like that, and legal bulls to shoot, but we could never get close enough. And on the second day, I was sitting at this place called the Chicken Chute with my grandfather, and we were watching a herd of elk move down the top of the mountain to come down for the evening to go bed. And we hear one of my cousins shoot on the other side of the mountain. So we all go back to camp, and we're sitting there talking, and we wait for him to come up, and he said that he has just killed a huge, huge elk. So we go out there and we track it down for him, and this thing's absolutely massive. I'd never seen an elk that close on the ground, or an animal that big on the ground, and they have to weigh at least 2,000, 2,500 pounds. They're huge. And that was a really cool sight to see as well, a really cool thing to share with my cousin. Skinning that elk and field dressing it. That was the very first time I'd actually ever field dressed an animal that size. And we get back to camp and stuff, and he tells us the story of how the elk herd came up the mountain and how he got to pick out his bull. And he also said that there was another bull that was in the same herd as that. So he wanted me to go sit on the same spot on the mountain that he did, so I could go try to harvest that bull. So the next morning I get up, and it's about 25 degrees outside, and that's one of the warmer days we've had. It was the sun was coming up. There's not a cloud in the sky, so I didn't bring any gloves. I underdressed a little bit, and I go to my spot to sit, and I watch mule deer graze in and out, and a couple of foxes run around. And I look up at about 9 o'clock, and there's a huge black cloud rolling over the opposite mountain. And I knew exactly what it was. It was a snowstorm, and it came over me. And at first, I thought it was just going to absolutely downpour, but it didn't. It just spit a little bit, and I thought I was going to be good. It wasn't going to get that cold. I go to look at my phone, and the temperature's dropped 10 degrees. And I look up again, and there's the biggest snowstorm I've ever seen in my life coming over the other side of the mountain. And it comes over me, and I'm wearing this thing called a bear suit. It has a lot of fur on it. And the snow comes over me, and it starts sticking to all this furry camo that I have on me. And it's just almost like I'm insulated in a cooler at this point. It just starts getting colder and colder, having to tuck my hands inside my shirts and under my armpits. I have steam rolling out of from my breasts and stuff. It's crazy. Never been that cold. And I finally decided I had enough of it after watching about close to a foot of snow drop in about 30 minutes. I hop on my four-wheeler and I make it back to camp, and I get there, and my grandpa said I look like the abominable snowman. I had so much snow on me, probably close to 5 inches on my arms and everything. It was the coldest I've ever been in my life. And the main point of that is to always make sure you never trust the weather forecast, and if you're going elk hunting, take a pair of gloves and don't be stupid. Thank you.